Hey everybody, Bill in Virginia. Welcome back. So since the last video, I have made up 3 more pine trees using the furnace filter method. That used up the last 3 trunks that I had produced last year, and I now have them behind the O-scale trestle. And that is all that I'm going to put behind the O-scale trestle. I just wanted a few trees in there to make it look like they'd been there for a while. And the effect looks pretty good. You know, if I put any more in there, then it just looks too crowded. So these are anywhere from about 10 inches to 14 inches in height. Size differences that you see are just a result of where they were planted relative to the slopes on that back side there. I also took out the tree that I had here and put in a little bit taller tree. So that one is in place. That adds more of a view block for that portal. Still doesn't block any of the trestle. The tree that was there is now this one right down here. And that was the about 10-inch tall tree. So I'm ready to go over to this side and start doing some stuff. So what I'm going to be doing first is I'll be putting up bracing, kind of coming up so that I can run 1x2s different directions here so that I've got a base to lay pink foam board, at least for the horizontal part of it, as I'm starting to make the sweep around here. This right here is going to be made up of some verticals that are going to be sort of sitting a bit of an angle so that they sort of align with this over here. I'll start and establish an angle and then sort of bring it over and then kind of work this into it and then up. So this will be more of a continuation of this, put over a solid rock sheet, some bump out, some other fun stuff. We'll see how that works as I go. This over here is going to be interesting. So you notice that when I painted the backdrop is above the portal. So on this side, the pink foam board is going to extend over the track into here, and it'll be solid going around. So on the other side, I'm going to use a lot of trees to hide the portal, just like I did, in some of the other areas over here. But you're going to probably be able to see this direction. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put some pink foam board down right in here on both sides, up to about here. And I'm going to use some of the commercial trees that I still have that just don't look great. I will give them a new flock and paint, make them look better, and then I can put them in here on either side. This is going to be very thick with trees on the other side, so it's going to be dark. But if you can see past the portal, you're going to see a little bit of a forest that's just disappearing into the darkness of the shadows of the forested area. It's going to be under the pink foam board. It's not going to get much light except what comes through here and a little bit that comes through from the tunnel portal on this side. So I think that's going to work. That will hide it from looking through this way. And that's what I want. So we'll see if that's going to play out soon. It's late Saturday night. I'm not going to do anything else. But tomorrow I will start getting the braces in and start hopefully setting some pink foam board in place. We'll see how this is going to pull together. Well, it is Sunday morning, and this afternoon I'm going to get started on the next module, doing what I was talking about in the last video, starting to cut some pieces up to frame in to support the pink foam board. But right now, I'm taking a little bit of time and I'm starting to make up another batch of trees. So I'm using the grapevine wire, and this I got at Hobby Lobby, and you can see the price isn't bad, $5 for it, and even though you can't see it right here, it's like 25 feet. So from 25 feet of rustic wire, I can get 11 trees. This is O-scale type trees. The smaller, shorter ones over here for HO, you could probably get 12, maybe 13 out of it. But 11 is what I've got out of this roll. I did a roll last night, and I got 11 basic trunk shapes out of that one as well. So for $10 in materials, at least for the stuff to use for my armatures. I'm getting 22 trees. The rest of the material, you know, it's adding cost, but it's not significant. So what I do is I just cut it to 3 varying lengths so that I can sort of build up, you know, a stronger base, gets up to a higher point, and then it starts to taper a little bit. You know, as I'm cutting, I look for the thickest piece of where the stuff is wrapped on the wire. Try to keep the thickest piece down at the base so that that is like the base of the trunk. And then I'm doing something different than what I did in my previous videos. You know, I'd use super glue to start to glue them up to kind of hold them into position. And I was doing that last night, and I was getting my fingers glued onto them more than what I was getting these to be glued on. So I thought, you know what, the heck with that noise. I'm going to try something different. So I got out my favorite wood glue and came in and did, you know, a little dab in the middle, or excuse me, on the bottom, on the middle where I go from 3 to 2, and then another little bit where I go to 2 to 1. So I did that last night on the first 11, and you know, this is what I got. And let's see here. So from that batch, all of these are ready for the next step. So this is 11 completed tree armatures, varying lengths, like what you're going to see in a forest. So this is ready to go to the next step. I will do all of these, and I will go to the next steps where I start to fill in the trunks. I'll show a little bit of that a little later. But I'm going to get these done, and then I'm going on to the work on the other module. Well, a little later Sunday afternoon. I've been outside doing some mulch and some yard work. Now back in to do some more on the layout. So what I've got here is the 22 tree trunks that I was starting in the previous video segment. I'm going to work on these for just a little while to get this batch moving along before I go over and start to work on the layout a little bit more. So these have the first of what will be probably 3 glue applications done to them. You can see on this one, that groove, that's where the wire strands come together. Most of these trees have 3 segments of wire, and what I do is I take my wood glue, which is the Type Bond 2, what I like, and it's a fast set time. And I use wood glue because it's thicker. White glue you could use, but white glue is runnier and it makes a little bit more of a mess. This tends to stay put. So what I've done with all of these is on at least one side I've come in and I've used the glue, and I have applied it along that seam between the wire strands. Not a lot. A little bit goes a long way. You just want to make sure it gets covered, and you can kind of smear it around on there. You can use your fingers, you can use the glue bottle tip, whatever. Then I come in and I'm using Woodland Scenics Fine Turf Earth just to kind of add this texture that you see. Put it on the glue. 1, it helps keep the glue in place, and then 2, it adds like a bark texture. So you can see, like right here, the glue is starting to soak through the Woodland Scenics material. I just take a pinch and apply it. You know, you're not wasting anything, because whatever does not stick is going to come off, and you can reclaim it and reuse it until you don't have any more to reuse. And a little bit goes a long way. You know, I've used maybe 1/8 of the jar on this, and most of it is actually sitting on the cardboard or on this little stand that I have, which is a little drying stand I made. So what I'll do is, when these cure after about 2 hours, I'll come back in. I can tap off the excess Woodland Scenics material. I'll come back in and I'll add more glue along that seam on each of them. Let that dry. Then I'll rotate it again and add more glue, more Woodland Scenic material. Let that dry. And then I'll come back in probably a final time. And each time I'm doing this, I'm building it up. But I'll come back a final time and add just like a drop right here, and then add more of the material so that it sort of builds a transition from, 2 or 3 to 2, 2 to 1. Just makes it smoother and honestly easier to put stuff on. You can see this is still wet because I knocked off all the Woodland Scenics material. So let's just kind of put that back on there. Let me get this where it won't be flopping all over. There we go. I can add a little bit more, and I'll add a little bit more for about the first 20 minutes. And it doesn't make any difference if you don't add to it, because this is all going to get spray painted when I've got the other stuff on it. But anyway, we'll see how this looks. I'm not going to build trees, but I'm going to have the trunks ready to build when I need them. And I'll be building more actually too. Probably another at least another 22, I would guess. Another couple of rolls of that grapevine wire. But I won't show that. Well, late Sunday afternoon. And right now I have used up the majority of my smaller clamp, so I've got to let this dry before I move on. But putting in the 1x2s that will serve two purposes. One is they will be able to support the pink foam board as I continue to move my way around. And then two, this will align with the 1x4 base down there so that when I put the fascia on, because this is higher, I'll be able to screw into this support as well as the bottom for the fascia. A little bit different than what I did on this, where I had little 1x2s kind of coming out and I glued them to the fascia. Here I'm just going to screw them on in case I do ever need to get access. I've still got plenty of room from underneath to come up, but you never know. Since there's more track going to be hidden here, I want to be able to get to it if I need to. So once this is done, I've already got a piece cut down here that'll go from here to the end, and then I will continue to mark some pieces so that I can take it back that way and then do the corner and around. Then I can come into here and I can start doing some cross pieces as well, where I will put on up in here and glue onto that so that I can cover this. And then I will do like I've done down there on this upper track, in which I will add out extensions coming off here so that I can start to get the pink foam board coming across. And then I'll do a couple of cross pieces in here so that I can lay bigger sheets into this area. So I can start to form what the mountains are gonna look like in this area, because this is all gonna be hills kind of coming up and down and some different things, and just this is a forest. We'll see what else I can do. I'm not going to get a whole lot more done tonight. I'll let the glue dry. But after that, actually, I'm probably going to have to go and get more lumber. But it is what it is. Well, late Sunday night, and I'm calling it. I've got a lot of stuff put in place and clamped up still. So I'm gonna wrap it up for today, let all of this dry overnight, and then tomorrow night after work, I've got some stuff already cut to put into place. I'll get those clamped up. And then I do have to go buy some more 1x2s. I am out. But we're making progress. At some point during this week, I think I'll be able to start putting some pink foam board in over on this side. Monday night after work, I've been out here for a little while, and I'm continuing to add up supports for pink foam board, at least as I have clamps to do so, and I've got more clamps over there. Thinking I will have all of the pieces in on Tuesday night. We'll see. Anyway, I've got all of my clamps in place. I'm done with this for tonight. Well, as even fast set wood glue dries slow, I've been working on trees when I run out of clamps over on the layout. So I came in and I found a partial roll of the grapevine wire, or I think in this case this was the rustic wire. Able to make 4 more trees out of it. I've got that started. They've been glued to hold them together. I can start doing the next step on that. Did use a roll of grapevine wire from Hobby Lobby, and I've got pieces cut to do another 11 trees right here. That I will add to my coffee can that has 22 tree trunks in it. So with what I've got on the table here, I'm going to get up to about 37 trees out of this material just for this run. So these are ready for the next step now, which will be to get toothpicks as well as my heat shrink tubing out. So I can put heat shrink tube on the top of this. I will use a dab of super glue, glue in toothpicks, heat shrink it, and then I will take an old brush with some wood glue and paint it with wood glue, and then take this and roll it in the Woodland Scenics material so that it all matches, and then that will be ready for making trees. But that'll come a little bit later here. Still working on the layout. So this clip is going to do it for this video. I am still gluing on supports, but I do have all of them on that I intend to put on. At least from the track back. I've still got a little bit of work to do here, but I'm not going to do that until the very end. So I've got all of the areas where it will support pink foam board. These will be bigger solid sheets in here that I can build up. I'm not making huge mountains here, but definitely some rolling hills, some other effects that I'll put in as I go. I've got it around this way, and again, clamps are on, letting things glue. You can see how I'm setting up the supports for the pink foam board that's going to go over the bottom track. So this is coming along, but you know what? This is going to end it for this video. Next video, I should have pink foam board well underway. I do have to go to not Hobby Lobby, Home Depot, and get some more tube adhesive for the pink foam board, but I'll do that yet this week. So anyway, keep having fun on your layouts. Until next time.